Good morning, dobro jutro, bună dimineața, jó reggelt, dobro utro, dzień dobry. I can try some. Buenos dias, guten Morgen. So I hope I covered most. Thank you all for coming here. The cloud technologies have a huge possibility to make an impact and improve your business, and we can start on that journey today together. And that is what makes IBM and Red Hat a little bit unique. Working with many clients across the region, we have seen that many of you have already started using various clouds and sometimes not even calling it cloud. Right? Many of you are using Microsoft Office, that, as we all know, run in the cloud as well, and maybe that is how you use it. Most likely it's not, but it is one place how many clients have started. Many organizations have, whether it is CFO office or chief marketing officers, are sending your data to somebody else who are providing you with insights or giving you data about your clients, whether that is Net Promoter Score. So the number of already present cloud type of applications in every enterprise is very, very significant. And that allows many organizations to have access to new data, the one that was not necessarily a result of your transactional legacy applications, and that there are new ways of interacting with the clients. And every single organization, right, for the last 5 years, everyone was talking about disruptions, but in the heart of it, and that is what Johan has touched on, is truly every organization is driving digital transformation and are looking for ways how to speed it up. And some of the areas are not so simple as they appear. Now, talking specifically about the cloud marketplace and IT marketplace. Some of you are from business, some of you are from IT part of the organization. What you can see here, usually this thing, I can even point, very good. So this big thing at the bottom is what we call traditional IT. This is IDC data, not IBM's, right? And you can see that over the last couple of years, this traditional IT was already transforming through many clients building what you call private clouds. And there was also very, very high growth of consumption of the public clouds. And within the public cloud domain, there is also something called dedicated private cloud, where you use a piece of infrastructure which is only dedicated to you. And what IDC have found, and this is really industry statement, is that 94% of the larger enterprises are using multiple clouds today. And that over, 67% are using more than one public cloud provider. Now in Central and Eastern Europe and in Southeast Europe, respectively, those percentages are a little bit lower, but not as dramatic as you might expect. But at the same time, you look at these three areas and how the market will change. And this is outlook for 2020, which is basically 6 months from now or even less. So the speed of change is fairly dramatic. And in the United States, about 20% of the workloads have moved to this area. Oops, I'm sorry. I tried to point to public cloud. 80% is still within the enterprise. And all of the benefits, which primarily ones were around cost, right, are not available to 80% or more of the workloads. You see that percentage of what has moved is about 6 on average. So there is a long way to go in our territory. Now you might ask yourself a question, why? The answer is fairly simple. If it was so easy, everyone would have done it already by now. Right? It's, this region is known to have skills and IT expertise, so that is not the roadblock. And what I want to use is a little bit different metaphor to really make a point on what does it truly mean to have an open, multi-hybrid cloud environment, because we know and believe that that is where all of the clients are eventually going to look like. So anyone this morning who had a coffee between the moment you woke up and now, can you raise your hand? Maybe I can see it. Don't be shy. Good. So the metaphor may not be perfect, but it may work. So if you imagine that coffee beans, right, are the source of how every coffee starts being made, right? It was necessary ingredient, and I would like to draw an analogy to how we consume the coffee and lead all the clients toward hybrid multi-open clouds. There are diverse types of coffees, right? They grow on different parts of the planet. Those of you who are really into coffee, and I am, there are two main blends, Arabica as well as Robusta, which mainly grows in Asia, which is much, much stronger, but far more bitter. So, and most of the coffees that we drink are mix of various types. And all of you who really wake up with a coffee, you make the first one probably at morning, you consume maybe another coffee in the office, and if you're really passionate about coffee, you want to have coffee everywhere, right? It's not like I want to have it only at home or only in the office. Now, in a parallel to on-prem infrastructure, right, that would be equivalent of making coffee in your office. And 20 years ago, it was a little bit slow. These days, in every office where you work, you might have bought a coffee machine, whether it's an espresso or something else. You pick your own type of coffee, you make coffee for yourself. Now, when you want to do this as organization grows for more and more people, you look for a provider who will do that for you at much greater speed, and that is what also happens. Now, sometimes you will go to a local coffee shop outside the office and consume again a different coffee over there, and hence, on the planet, we have companies like Starbucks and many others, right, who have made a huge business out of that. There are some differences. You know, coffee at the Starbucks is more or less the same everywhere, whereas if you prefer a slightly different type of coffee or you are used to it, you can't have it. Now, the public cloud is equivalent of Starbucks and other companies, right? You can't really cherry pick, though I've seen people who are ordering Starbucks coffee, it takes them like 2 minutes to pronounce what they want, right? Skinny, semi, latte, soy milk, non-fat, this and that, and it takes really like a minute till they can take your order. But this also tells you, like human beings, the enterprises as well sometimes have particular needs. They need to be addressed. Now, you may not drink coffee only from your local store, and we believe that these coffee beans, or if you wish your data that you have built over the years, is something that gives you competitive advantage. And you should be able to use what you want whenever you like and wherever you like. Be it at home or in the office. Same thing for IT, whether you want to do it in your enterprise or you want to do it in public cloud or dedicated cloud, or ideally you will just set up a policy. Right? I want to have a good coffee wherever I go. I want my applications to have access to my data and run wherever I would imagine them to be running. Now, if coffee beans are equivalent of the data, right, the coffee itself that needs to go through process of brewing, water, high temperature, pressure, depending on whether you like Turkish coffee, filter coffee, espresso coffee, or pre-prepared capsule types, right? There are many ways how you can make a coffee. And there are also many different ways how you can build your application and leverage the data that you have. And ideally, you want your most favorite type of coffee to be able to consume it everywhere. And in theory, that is possible. You just put it in a container and take it with you wherever you like, and you consume it wherever you like. So this is really a simple and a silly story, but just to illustrate that where enterprises are going, it's really all about having access to the environments, to the technology, and selectively and in a controlled way access to the data that you safeguard within your enterprise, as well as the data that from time to time you want to consume from other providers. Now, and that will give to everyone a smooth experience. And I'm a big coffee drinker, So I like this metaphor because if the world was truly perfect for me, I would have my favorite coffee everywhere. And one of our partners also has an espresso stand outside, so in the break, if you don't like the filter coffee, go for an espresso, I promise you it's better. Now, Johan has touched on this, right, about the next phase and the transformation. And what we are really, really passionate is about helping clients build hybrid clouds because they already run multi-clouds, they are just not integrated. And a lot of clients want to leverage open source, speed of innovation that became possible, and entire developer communities, and therefore the hybrid environments need to support that. And last but not least, secure data access in a controlled way is absolutely critical. No matter whether it runs within your enterprise and it's a private cloud, or is it a workload that at the click of a mouse or automatically moves to one of the cloud providers. Now the challenges we believe need to be addressed are addressed by these 5 core principles that everything we do in IBM, and Red Hat fully supports that, is that all of the environments need to be hybrid, need to be open, need to be multi-cloud ready, need to be secure, and you need to be able to manage all of that. Value of enterprises moving to hybrid clouds are, from a business side, truly huge. This is based on our experiences working with some of the clients. Once you have done, this is what here at the bottom left, hopefully everyone even at the back can see this, and I don't know if the dot is not very visible. The value today, this is these 5 to 10% of the workloads that you already have today in someone else's cloud. Most of the clients in CE have used that for simple infrastructure, whether it's a disaster recovery, backup and restore, test and development environments for developers who are trying to accelerate the pace of innovation. But really, how do you benefit from all of the promises that this technology brings? To bring it to your IT organization, to your business, is what I think you should want to have. And the way to do that with our approach is that you get, and I will not lie and tell you entire organization will change overnight, but if you imagine that large majority, whether that is 60 or 80% of your IT organization, can think, deploy software in a ways that are not in silos, but everyone is using the same methodology while still having a choice of the tools, development languages in which they develop applications, you get 2 times or more faster speed of innovation and products brought to market, not in 12 months, but in 6 or even 3. That is one of the typical cases. The other one is on the reducing overall costs, right? And I think in Southeast Europe, the understanding this and building the plan, in my discussions with clients, that is not something that you see as the challenge. The challenge is how do you change the people, right? And average age in most of the IT organization is not age of 25, it's closer to my age. And sometimes, as we say, old horses are a little bit harder in learning new tricks, or old dogs, whatever is the phrase. But instead of trying to push that, we have seen many clients who have organized them according to the agile principles. No more org charts, we organized in tribes. And 2 years later, the actual impact and all of these benefits are not there yet. And the reasons are that they need tools, common platform that everyone, or I keep coming back to majority of the organization, can use. So when you talk about how do I deploy a patch, or how do I release a piece of the software, or how do I monitor my application, that you simplify through standards that we are embracing 100%. And I will not go through the details, but happy to engage in the afternoon, right, how that also drives, right, speed of innovation, driving the cost down, bringing products faster to the market, and making it truly, truly simpler for everyone. And let's not forget the governance and compliance is absolutely key. We have been developing our products today allow you to set up policies, software defined, not only how infrastructure should look or how applications should run where and when, but also which data can go where based on the policies and the agreements that you have with various providers, whether it's your internal IT or one of the public cloud providers. Now, what it is that IBM has been at for the last couple of years, I would say for the last 3 years we have been containerizing our software. I'm not going to talk technology, but the impact that, and I would say foresight that we have had, we have realized that the containers are the next wave technologically that will make, that was really born into the cloud world. We have embraced 2 years ago Kubernetes as de facto the standard for orchestrating that, and with the Red Hat acquisition we have really bought into the open source community and proven enterprise capabilities from operating system layer all the way to orchestrating workloads, as well as providing open source business components, right, that are very, very complementary to what IBM has been doing for many, many years. And these capabilities go not only on the application level or integration, which is what IBM has been doing for many, many years, but also from data and AI side. And this is also what Johannes has mentioned, how each client does want to become a cognitive enterprise, but how do you start a journey that gets you there is absolutely at the agenda of every board meeting that all of the clients have. Now, with our capabilities together with Red Hat, we can help you modernize your applications. Right? These 6% were new things. The 80% are the applications that are not maybe bad or cannot be modernized because they are from the last century, but many of them are 5, 10, 15 years old, built on a relatively modern architectures, but if you could shift them to cloud-based environments, put them in containers, you get this also cultural transformation that everyone in the IT organization doesn't have a choice, right? What they want to know or what they should learn is everyone starts using the same tools to run your entire infrastructure, which is really a dream come true and allows all of those huge benefits. Now, we have as IBM, ever since we announced the Red Hat acquisition, which was last year in October 1st, I believe, right? It took us almost a year to complete the acquisition. Right? We have been also working on modernizing IBM portfolio and develop the cloud packs that run on top of the OpenShift environment. Now, if you have never used a piece of IBM software, right, we may discuss how everything that you build now for the future, you will need to have application integration capabilities in the cloud, from gateways to application communication in an easy way. But if you have invested in virtually any piece of IBM software, be it Vaciu application server, MQ series, IIB, our enterprise service bus components, our FileNet content manager, all of those products are today capable, or not capable, available as part of the cloud packs. Right? We have one for applications that allow you to modernize your Java applications that are probably running on Vaciu application server, and in a matter of weeks, sometimes it does take months, but in incomparable time frames to actually shift them to a cloud-ready environment, which you can run on-premise. Right, somewhere here it says on-premise, maybe you cannot see it due to the chairs. Can run on various systems, can run in IBM Cloud, can run in Amazon Cloud, can run in Azure from Microsoft, as well as Google Cloud. All of those providers provide OpenShift as a service, and you have a complete freedom, and that is what makes IBM and Red Hat value proposition unique in the industry today. In 12 months from now, there will be some others who can do this, right? But this is what we can do today. and time to value is absolutely fantastic. And then my last slide, before I invite Adam to come to stage, is when you really think about this, that initiatives in the enterprises, sometimes they start at the bottom, usually on the development side of the organization. You know, how can we leverage the data? This is what on the left-hand side is shown as an inside-out approach, right? Where you see sparks of innovation coming without asking for it. Right? On the right-hand side is what we call outside-in innovation, where you actually want to get closer to your clients and you build something completely new, right? Which is maybe detached from the heritage and all. And really, the speed of digital transformation is greatest when you can marry those two. And this can be married by bringing these platforms together that allow, right, freedom of innovation irrespective of the destination or the technology, and truly accelerate.